Hello everybody and welcome back. Wonderful that you could join me. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I have got a wonderful live feed lined up for you. I can't see the chat at the moment because I'm going to read some things out from the website, but I will pop over into the chat at some point, I promise. Just give everybody a second to get settled and we shall get going. I can see Susie's in. I think our other Susie's going to pop in again as well later. And hello Gillian, and Kaz the Witch is in. I was with Kaz in the Delamere forest at the weekend, but I will bring you all up to date on that. So let's get started. First of all, I would like to say thank you to all of our new members, and we have had so many of them join over the last few days. Hello Stu and Jack, wonderful that you could join us. We've had members from everywhere join, so I'll be putting everybody onto the map over the weekend, and so make sure you check it every now and again because there will be lots of new members. Which brings me to the Delamere meet. The weather was atrocious. It was absolutely awful, so I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that made it out to meet us, because that's what makes it worthwhile. There's a lot of planning goes into the meets. And I will be bringing you some updates of further meets at the end of the show. So, Delamere, lovely, absolutely wonderful. Didn't realise there was that many sightings down there myself until I had to put a document together for taking down there. And I didn't realise how special the area was actually when it comes to ancient places. And if there's a video out actually on YouTube at the moment that I put out as we were in Delamere explaining all of that. But basically it's a very important area, and we did notice that many of the reports in that area are canine in origin, rather than Bigfoot or wildfowl. It seems to be lots and lots of canine creatures and some very unusual creatures, let's put it like that. We have made the newspapers a number of times in the past 2 weeks, and I'll discuss them in a minute. A gentleman from the Daily Star got in touch with me, and he did a very respectful interview about 12 months ago with 2 members of BBR back then, who took him out into the field and showed him what we do. So he contacted me again. I did an interview with him. I wasn't overjoyed at the title, but that's what the newspapers do, isn't it? But the actual article itself was quite good. It was Bigfoot ruined my life, but it actually went into what happened to me back then and the way we've come forward and the way we've made BBR. There is also another report in Bigfoot in the UK. Very positive report. States numbers of reports up and down the country. I thought it was quite fair, and I was pleased that he did it. So he has asked me if it would be okay if he does some other newspaper reports, and I was very happy with that. I said yeah, that was fine. And then many of you will have noticed that Lee Solway, one of our members, was in the newspaper yesterday. He is going to be speaking at the Hull conference along with myself and Simon Clark, and he collects cryptid reports, paranormal reports, anything like that that's in that area, Hull, Grimsby, that kind of way. So if you fancy coming out to see us at the concert, which conference will be February 28th, 29th and 1st of March. I'll be speaking 29th at 1 o'clock if anybody's interested in that. And there'll be a link to the description down below after this video goes onto YouTube where you can get tickets from. Now, Yvette Fielding will be at the event, and I'm hoping that I get a chance to talk to her, even if it's just 5 minutes, simply because I would like to ask her if she's ever done any outdoor investigations where she's had wood knocking, running feet, strange screams or howls or whoops, things thrown at them from within the trees, because I'm sure I know of 2 when I used to watch More Haunted back in the day where that happened, and I can't name them, and I'd love to remember what they were. So I thought even if I just get 5 minutes, it would be nice. There is no cost for joining. I'm going to go into that in a second actually, because lots and lots of people have asked me. So yeah, that's the conference. Right, there's a lot of confusion over the membership, so let's clear it up. Costs nothing to join. There's no monthly fee, there's no yearly fee, anything like that. Some people prefer to just go with the free option and get an email that has their membership and it has all the links attached. Other people prefer this option, and this is actually what you pay for. You're just basically paying for the envelope and the stamp, the certificate itself, the actual card that you can pop in your wallet, and a team badge. So that's what you're paying for. That's just if you want that. To join BBR, it's absolutely free. We have a private members map, and many of the members will jot down their email on there, and it enables them to meet up with other people in the field or online. So it's not something that we charge for. BBR is run by volunteers everywhere. Some people do make a donation, and that goes towards organising meets, paying for things like printer ink and, you know, all the boring stuff, domains and things like that. But yeah, we're a non-profit organisation, so we don't actually make any money at all, so we don't charge you for your membership. We even say if you've got a podcast, or if you're a filmmaker, or, you know, if you've got a project and you want to get it out there on the map, because we do a monthly email. And that email will have all of the sighting reports that have come in, which is basically the email is what I'm reading out to you now. It will give you links to podcasts that the members have made. When you join, you will get a welcome email. And in that welcome email, there are links to podcasts, Patreon. Patreon is free, by the way. People are scared of Patreon because they think they have to pay. You don't. It's up to you whether you're a patron or not on Patreon. Patreon's just another site where you can see the sightings early, and listen to some... I do more personal blogs on that site and witness interviews and things like that on Patreon. The patrons get it early, but you still get it 2 or 3 days later. You don't have to pay for anything, and it's just another way of getting the story out there for people. And obviously we've got YouTube and Vimeo and all of, you know, the rest of the things, podcast, iTunes, because I make my podcast on Spreaker. Spreaker shares it automatically with all of those sites for me. I don't have to do that, so it shares across a wide board, and the link to that Spreaker account is in that email. So pop along there if you like the podcast and, you know, and the witness reports. I also add the map of sightings on there, and people are a little confused by it. If you see the little image and you click on it, and the account will open at the side like this chat box has tonight, and it will show you the account, and it will tell you the year that it happened, if there's been any evidence finds, and have a look around and see what else is in that area. You can also go to the search bar and just pop your name in, your town in, or your county, and you'll see what reports are on there, and it just works like Google Earth, really. Exactly the same. So I hope that's cleared it up. We don't charge for anything. We do have merch, but the cost, anything that we sell merch wise is usually sold at the meets, and that just kind of covers the petrol and things like that to get us to the next meet. So there is that available, and I'll talk about that at the end. It's not really my area of expertise, to be honest. Right, so we've got quite a crowd in now. We shall start on the reports. Now, I've had quite a lot. I've managed to go back months and months and months to some of the backdated ones and pull them forward so that we can get working on them now. And we've had some new ones that have come in over the last couple of weeks, and I want to get them out to you in case you want to go out and investigate, or you're willing to talk to the witness and chat with them about the event, because local knowledge is gold. It's easy enough for me to talk to them, but if I don't know where they are or the area that they're in, I haven't really got an understanding of what the day or event's been like for them. And your local knowledge or your skill set, if you're a paranormal investigator, or you're just really interested in getting involved and helping, just let me know in email and I can put you in touch with them, and then it kind of frees me up, kind of thing, and then I can move on to the next one, and we'll can do it like that. I will always put the stories out for them. It's just that we're getting so busy now, and so popular, that we do need help, and I definitely need help out there in the field getting in touch with people, as you will see from the amount of reports that have come in just in the last month alone. So sticking with Delamere, and for anyone who doesn't know where Delamere Forest is, it's in kind of Cheshire region of the UK, which is in the northwest, not too far away from me. And and it's ancient ground, like Sherwood Forest. It used to be a massive forest, and now it's been split down into 2 smaller parts. But it used to stretch all the way to Liverpool, and it would have been an incredibly important foraging route at one point. So I had someone get in touch with me, and they said this happened in 2014, and it is a large black wolf report. Pardon me. Me and a group of 4 friends were out late one Friday night in Delamere Forest, and they were walking along the designated trails. It was raining. They wanted to have a cigarette, so they kind of all huddled together under one umbrella, and they had a cigarette. And basically, they're all sat there, and they start to get this feeling of being watched. And we've heard that many, many times before, haven't we? This awful feeling that you're being watched and you can't see from where. So one gentleman, the gentleman making the report, looks around, and he says, to my horror, I could see 2 eyes looking back at me about waist height, not even 10 feet away from us, in a thin, bushy hedgerow. Suddenly, like it knew that I had seen it, it began to move right almost instantly, right across the path we had just walked from, and the way that we would have to walk out. To the best of my ability, all I can say I saw was an extremely large black wolf-like creature, down on all 4s, which didn't turn its head or lose eye contact with me the whole time it crossed the path. It was glaring at me with a vacant expression before disappearing into the denser shrubs along the pathway. Now, as many of you know, as I said earlier, there are lots and lots of canine type creatures in Delamere. The satellite trail has been mentioned as one area, and I'm not sure how close this report was to that. But most of the reports that have come out of Delamere to me have been either on all 4s, canine creatures, or upright on 2 legs, canine creatures. And there was something I picked up when I was reading, and I want to touch on. It'll come to me in a second. Yeah, this we hear it over and over and over again, that the creature that is seen is usually between you and the way out. So he's stuck in this predicament then. What's the best thing to do? Sit and wait it out, or run like prey and hopefully that it doesn't run after you? What an awful choice to be left with, you know? I would imagine that they went into Delamere for just, you know, a bit of fun out there, and they've expected a little bit of spook or something like that, but then they've come to face with something that kind of kept eye contact with him the entire time. I mean, that's predator, that, isn't it? We can't mistake that for a benevolent account. And yeah, and then it disappeared in there. So if you're from the Delamere area and are willing to help me with this account, get in touch. Or if you're interested in doing any research at Delamere, get in touch, because I can put you in touch with some other guys that are researching down there as well. Or if you have any information or any local stories, old knowledge, things like that, I have to agree with Stu there in the comments where it says don't run. But honestly, faced with that situation, that's exactly what I did. Didn't really put much thought into it, in all honesty. I think it's going to be different for every single person. But the absolute dilemma of, do I stay here and wait to be first course, you know, or should I depart the situation swiftly in the hopes that I don't get hunted down and eaten? Just a horrifying thought, isn't it? Really, really is. Now we go over to Wales, and this account came in January, so incredibly new. Witness is absolutely wonderful, and we've been chatting backwards and forwards, so this is just a small part. All of these sighting reports will get their own video, but what I do is I bring them to the members each month, and then they get to see them, because video making takes a lot longer than, you know, just reading it out, as you can understand. So I was walking my dog late one afternoon, the beginning of October this year, sorry, so I got the date wrong, so it would have been October 2019, And I decided to go down to the river, which is a small wooden bridge on an ancient pathway near a very old church not far from our cottage. And I got to where there is a big oak tree on the bank that looks down into the ravine, which the river flows through. And where the bridge is, that leads off onto another pathway to an old farm. And as I looked down towards the bridge, I could see something big and black coming down the path, running towards the bridge from the direction of the farm. And I actually thought, oh, because the cows roam free here, and you know what they can be like when you've got dogs with you. And as it got nearer, it became clear that what I was looking at was jet black and looked like a giant wolf, but it was upright. It was upright on two legs. It had big, broad shoulders and arms, but it had a bit thin waist compared to the rest of it. I cannot say that it had canine legs or front-facing knees, but it was definitely upright like a human. It stopped at the end of the path and just stood looking towards the bridge, and its chest was heaving like it was heavily breathing. It was trying to get its breath back, and for a few seconds I just stared at it in disbelief. And then, all of a sudden, it was gone. Now, there is also a report in Llangollen that I know of, I think 2007, but I'd have to check. And that witness stated that what they saw was a bear man, an upright figure that had a bear's head and body, but it walked upright in a human way. And there's also a report not too far away in the Horseshoe Pass of an upright bear. So I would gamble on that one and say that we could be thinking about the same creature possibly. And I know that there are members that are not on the map who are not too far away from Llangollen or Wales in particular. So if you can help with this in any way, please get in touch. Now, we go from Wales up to Scotland, and this next report called A Bit of a Ferrara. When I put a report out, when it comes in, as many of you know, I will only copy and paste the person's, what they've spoken, what they've written. I will put that in, and then I will have a look and see what paranormal reports are in the area, what UFO reports are in the area, and that's when I put the video together. So when I was doing this report, I realised that on the next farm across, there was a deer that had been lodged into a tree, and there had been lots of other deer that lay dead in the field, and a number of foxes had been killed over a period of time. So I thought that that was relevant, considering what the guy's describing looked like one of the dog soldiers from the film. So I thought, I'll add that in. Somebody else got all aerated about it and said, that picture, it's not come off him. And I said, no, it's not come off him. It's come off the farm next to him. Two totally different events. He's not reported on this in any way, shape or form. I found that picture with the newspaper article when I was looking for validation reports, as I call them. So if a report comes in from Morpeth, I will go and look what paranormal groups there are in Morpeth, and I'll see if they've got any reports. Or I will have a look in the local newspaper and see if there's any UFO reports or anything like that, so you can have a look what the area is like. And I will add in any images that I find. So I wasn't trying to hoax or fake anything. This young lad did not claim this deer kill. The deer kill was a totally separate event and was a number of years after, if I remember rightly. But let's get to it. Barge Edit in Scotland, and it happened in 2005. As I was walking with the dog, we got to the corner, which leads to this long road with a hill at the end, and the dog stopped for a pee. And as she was doing her business, she was facing the way we'd just come from. And I was standing, looking down the road, waiting on her. When I was waiting, I saw what I can only describe as a large bipedal wolf. It was about 8 feet tall, and it was at the top of the hill and at the top of the wooden staircase that's up there. And it jumped. It jumped about 30 foot from the top of those stairs and landed without a sound. behind a huge van which was parked outside. Now, I only saw it for a split second, but even so, I saw it clear as day. It was in full view, and it was lit up by the street light. Now, the best way I can describe it was its likeness to the werewolves from the movie Dog Soldiers. It had a wolf's snout and a long grey mane, which followed behind its head with the motion caused when it jumped. So, absolutely terrifying. If you're up in that area and you're interested in getting some information on this sighting and you want to go out to the area, let me know and I can tell you whereabouts it happened. It's just on the village, just on to the southeast of Barge Edda. Our next one takes us to Croydon, and it's I report this only just come in, and I need to chat with the witness in full, so I'm only going to give you a small amount of what he put in the first email. And it's basically, he was a young lad, he was about 4 or 5, and I know that many of us have had strange experiences when we were kids in bed at night, and I thought this fits so well with so many of those that I wanted to bring it to you in this video. So he says, when I was 4 or 5 years old, I was staying at my grandparents' and I saw something impossible to explain in my room. I was looking through the smallest crack in the quilt because I could hear some hissing, and I was trying to find out what was going on while still trying to stay hidden. This thing approached the bed, I think, but I don't remember the exact order of things. I think that it grabbed or touched my leg, but somehow I was able to get up on my feet. It had a skeletal face with skin that clung to it. The skin looked thin, and I think that's why I thought it looked so skeletal. It had big eyes. To compare it to things not yet seen in movies was impossible back then. But now I would say it looks similar to something like Gollum or one of the orcs. Just horrible. And it had a flap of skin, and big green eyes. And just, it says big eyes and green skin. I would imagine that was absolutely terrifying. He said it had long, gangly, skinny body. And though it was taller than me, I don't think it was as big as an adult. And it actually jumped on him in the bed. So as you can imagine, being a young child and having to grow up with that, it must have been awful. And I know that's not the only event, but like I say, I haven't spoken to him properly yet. We just keep missing each other. But I'll try and have a chat with him this week and see if we can help him in any way. Now we are going to go to the Barnsley area of Yorkshire, to Burntwood to be precise. And this is a report that comes in from a miner, and it happened in 84, 85. And he says, I'm only a mile from Burntwood Nursing Home and Howell Woods, and we have reports at Howell Woods. I used to fish a pond in Howell Woods, and although I never saw out, which means he didn't see anything, I did hear noises of breaking branches and tree limb snapping, etc. It was just put down to kids playing then, back then. Although I never heard voices, which you expect with kids really, don't you? I know it was 84 or 85, as I was a minor at the time and the strike was on. We hear that a lot, don't we? This snapping and breaking of trees. And lots of people put it, down to kids. But most of us know we were out there in the woods. There's some big tree snaps out there that I think most kids have struggled to snap. But the next one we go to is Fowey Cross. And this happened in 2020. And it's called a sleek black cat. Driving home tonight, and I saw what I thought was a black dog run out in front of my car near the Fowey Cross turning. I had to brake hard not to hit it. But now, thinking back, it might be a black panther, as it had a huge tail and long legs, and it was very muscular. She added, how I didn't hit it, I will never know. Lots of cars were in front of me and behind me, so they must have seen it too. Is there anybody out there that may have seen this? And this was in an actual Facebook group a couple of days ago. So do you know anything about the Fowey Cross sleek black cat? There are lots and lots and lots of big cat reports down in the area, I know that. and some very interesting DNA finds actually down there. Which brings me to the Loch Ness Monster. Apparently, they have found unidentified DNA in the Scottish Highlands, says the newspaper last week. I do remember a team going out last year and they said that they were going to do DNA tests on random spots on the lake, on the Loch, in the hopes of pulling up something. They'd pull the water out, they do the DNA. I just realised I've left a site and I've not put it on the thing, and I should have done. And they would test it, and if it came back with any, unidentified DNA, it'd be a miracle kind of thing. Well, it kind of has come back with unidentified DNA of the eel family, I think, if I remember rightly. So you never know, we might actually get to solve the mystery of Loch Ness one day. Let me just have a look. There was another report that came in from Loch. And I am convinced I'd put it on here to read it out to you. Let's make sure I'm not adding it further down. No, well, there was another report at Loch, and I've not had a chance to add it onto here yet. And it was a bipedal figure. I found it. Here we go. Loch Creature 2020. Another biped report from around the Lochen, Loch to be precise, happened again further south in the hills between Inverray and Loch. A forestry worker reported seeing a large ape-like man watching them with interest as they worked in the wood. The figure they saw was around 400 metres uphill, and the workers, of course, were very confused by this, and when a fellow worker put his trucks full beams toward this wild-looking man, as they called it, he ran uphill very fast and went into the thick trees of the woodland. And as I say, that's coming from the forestry workers in Inverray. Now, if that came in from Canada or America, not a doubt in the world people would say that's the Bigfoot. But because it's, the UK, has to be something else entirely. GPE, one of the members of BBR, had an interesting footprint find this month. If you've not got GPE on your YouTube channel, get in touch with me and I will pop your link over to him so you can subscribe. Not the type of area where you would expect anybody to be running about in bare feet in that bad weather that we had about 2 weeks ago now. Very good footprint. You can see toes, you can see movement of toes, so it's not been stamped in the ground like most people tend to do when they're hoaxing. It's an actual genuine footprint, and I think it's an incredibly good find, and I know that he has had to work that area for a very long time to get that and to know that area inside out. And you don't ever at any point, nobody that I know at any point in my 40 years has gone out on their first day within their first hour and got any evidence of anything at any point. It just doesn't work like that. It's unrealistic. That would be like trying to find a piece of hay in a field of haystacks. You have to know the area you're looking in back to front. You have to visit it lots and lots of times. And you just, when I hear anybody that says to me, oh, it's my first time out, went out for an hour and I found this, I usually think it's probably going to be weather related because they're not used to the woods, or it's going to be an animal sound that they're not used to. Owls can be terrifying. Foxes, badgers make awful noises, and so do roe deer and muntjac. And if you're not used to the woods, they can be quite startling. So the fact that he's been in this area for a very long time, got to know it like the back of his hand, for me, says that he's got an amazing catch. And I know another of our members has had an amazing footprint find this month as well. And I did say to him, don't be worried if you go back and that footprint's not there, because that happens all the time. Even, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but even to the fact that I think they come along sometimes and remove all traces of themselves, because I've only ever found one incredibly decent footprint. And when we're considering they're walking in muddy areas and things like that, I know lots and lots of people who've found prints, not had the camera on them or the phone, or they've wanted to cast it and they've gone on to get the kit and they come back and it's gone. And that happens more than you know. And I know that it happens in the US and it happens in Canada. So I I suppose, stick your camera in your pocket or keep your phone on you if you find anything. And one little bit of advice I would like to give you is put a scale object in the photograph that you take. I get lots and lots of photographs of footprints, but because you have no comparison, even something like a pencil or your lighter, that we know we can measure the length of that, and then we can correlate that to the foot and work out the foot method. It just helps. Measure it with a stick and bring the stick home with you, and then get a measurement on your thing. Anything that you can think of to get as a measurement on that would be absolutely amazing. Even if you got to stick your own boot next to it, because you can measure your own boot when you get home and see what the size of that is. It was a very swampy area where he found it, very muddy, really cold, and as I say, not the type of area you would imagine that somebody had been running around barefoot. Now let's go international, because we now have lots of international members. Chris Murphy, who runs the Canadian Sasquatch website, has put a number of PDFs out, bits and pieces it's called, and we've got episode 92 to 97. I have all of them, so if you want any of them, just let me know, or just one of them, and then that way, once you download that magazine, you can see them week in, week out when you need to see them. He is a world-renowned hominologist. If you are down the flesh and blood route, then that is probably a really good article for you to read. There's a lot of work on John Green gone into it. It's just really fascinating, really. And Chris sends them over to me, and then I share them in the monthly email. If you are a new member and you've missed the monthly email, just email me, and I will just, it's really simple for me to just send it over in a share for you. It's not too much to ask, I don't mind. Jeremiah Fontaine, our member of BBR in America, he's got a fantastic podcast out there. It's called On the Trail, The Search for Living Legends. Look it up on Podbean for me, or on Facebook. There's a Facebook group. He's done some amazing interviews, and he's picked up some interviews that I've not been able to do, or I've not been able to get good audio on. I know that many of you enjoyed Randy's encounter, where he saw a moose and a Sasquatch fight to the death, but the audio on it was awful because he was way out in the sticks and I couldn't hear him properly. Jeremiah's managed to do another interview with him, which has much better audio, but I will share that on the YouTube channel for you. But any of these links or any of these things I've mentioned, just pop me an email across and I'll send you a link to them. Now, one of our members, Paul Halstead, has mentioned a product that he thinks would be quite useful, and I agree with him. It's called a running snail. And basically, it's something dead handy that you can stick in your pocket and take out when you are researching. And it's a USB power bank. And how many times do we go out and the power fails or the battery fails? But it also will charge your phone for you as well, and it will do solar. So if you've got it out, you can charge it by solar, and it's also got a little hand so you can crank it like that. So if you're ever out of batteries and you're knackered somewhere, you can get a charge for your phone. It has a built-in LED torch, and it also has an FM AM radio, so it's something handy that you could stick in your bag. And I think you were under 20 quid when I had a look on Amazon. So yeah, that was Paul recommended that. Paul's one of the watering researchers from up here. So we are looking now at shout outs for areas, because as I said, we have so many reports come in and I can't keep up with them all. It's impossible. That we've got lots that are months and months and months old, and I want to use the fact that we've got lots of new members in the hope of clearing some of those up. So I'm looking for researchers in the northeast to investigate an area of ongoing activity. Lee Muzz has been absolutely wonderful with that. He's been working away up there, and I know Stu has. And I know that there are lots of members in the northeast, and these guys want to network and they want to get together. So we will be meeting at Bolam Car Park on the 29th of March this year, probably from about 11:30, something like that. John, one of the researchers, is found an area for me that's not too far from the visitor centre. So there's a toilet and it's accessible for the disabled. He's himself and Stu and Pete have offered to take you around and show you the sighting areas where the Bolam sightings are. I will bring all of the reports with me on the day and read them out to you, and we'll get a brew on and we'll have a cup of tea and we'll have a natter. So if you're in the northeast or you're close enough to the northeast that you don't mind coming out for a drive, that will be March 29th, as I say. I'll be travelling up the day before with Kaz, staying at Barnard Castle, I think, and then we'll travel on to Bolam the next morning. So I am also looking for a member who would be willing to chat with a producer of a documentary that's being made by some uni students, and they're in the Farnham, Kent area. And he's making the film about unusual hobbies, to be honest. So he's looking for people to interview who research cryptids or unexplained events, UFO, paranormal, things like that. Because he can't travel far, obviously, with being a student. But I said I'd reach out to people that were out there and just ask them. So just pop me an email over and I will put you in touch with him and we'll see if we can get you chatting. So it was a nice chat, Fraser. I spoke with him a number of days ago, and he just he's just interested in people who have unusual hobbies. And I volunteered to do it myself, but because he's so far away, we couldn't do it. So, and now I am looking for a member who is willing to help an investigator in Wiltshire who's had a very unnerving activity in his local area, and he's backed off for it and he's not prepared to go back in himself. So I said I would ask, but I would also warn him that that was the kind of feeling he'd got from it. So if you're in the Wiltshire area, let me know and I'll put you both in touch. Now, as I said, I want to go back and look at some of the older sightings. So if you're free at any point over this spring or summer and you could have a look at any of these for me, I'd be highly grateful. One is Martinshaw Wood in Leicestershire. Never been able to have a look at it, never really been able to get any local information on it really. Some strange events that have gone on down there. So as I say, Martinshaw Wood in Leicestershire. Another one I'm interested in, which is in Lincolnshire, is Bourne Woods, because there's some very strange accounts that have come out from Bourne Woods. If you're willing to travel out to Bourne Woods or Martinshaw, please let me know. Is there anybody in the Culbin, Inverness, Ness or Nairn? Start again, Deborah. Culbin, Scottish names, Inverness and Nairn area of Scotland, which is way up in the north of Scotland, that could have a look. Not so much the Culbin Forest for me, but just some of the other areas, maybe Culloden, that kind of place up there, and see if there's any strange structures on the land, anything like that. The next one was Starcross in Babbacombe, down in the southeast. There's been a report coming from Starcross, and it's a couple that are sat on a bench on the coastal path. You know, the path that you can walk that goes all the way, I think it's Penzance, isn't it? And it goes all the way, and you can just keep following it, go Brighton, Bournemouth, and just keep, you know, going to the White Cliffs. And there's been a number of sighting reports along that cliff walk. And this is one of those reports where things get thrown out of the trees, really, and just a very weird atmosphere and things like that. And it's one of the members that sent it in to me, and it'd be nice if I could get somebody to have a look down there, because it's impossible for me to get there. It's just way too far away. And I've got more details on it. I can tell you a little bit better where the actual sighting was. So that's Starcross in Babbacombe, and as I say, it's along that coastal road. So Undercliff is another area where there's been almost caveman-like reports. They've been, you've got, that's how she described it really, as a caveman. She said he would look like he was doing Tai Chi, or he was hunting in some type of way. But I've just made a video on that for you, and that will come up next week at some point. The next one is Wendover Woods in Buckinghamshire. Some really strange events going on at Wendover Woods. So if you're interested in getting there and having a look for me, that'd be great. I'd like someone to go out to the Lady Bower Reservoir in Derbyshire, because that was the area where lots and lots of people saw a biped running uphill, transverse uphill. Stopped the cars and looked at it. Loads of people saw it on that day. I don't think anybody's actually gone out there and done a real investigation of the area. You know, what's on the other side of that hill that it was transversing? Where would it have been coming from? That kind of thing. Stand on the roadway and look up at the hill and think, if it was an average man, would you be able to see it as clearly as they say? And I can send you the report over so you've got all the details. And I can do that with all of these accounts. So you've got the background story on them and everything. Another place is Southend, Leon Sea. Strange account down there that I'd like somebody to have a look at for me. And this one has my absolute favourite name. I think this one gets name of the week. And it's in Bollum, where we're all going to meet on the 29th. And it is at Bizzle Crags. Now, Bizzle, as Kaz will tell you, when you live in Lancashire, biz means really crap, yeah? So he's a bit bizzle, me. So when I saw it, Bizzle Crag, it tickled me. Bizzle Crags at Bollum. There's lots and lots of reports at Bollum Lake. And I think it's part of that corridor on the northeast. So, sorry, Bizzle Crags, it's stuck in my head now. Yeah. Oh, Tony, you're a braver man than I am. Tony said in the chat there that he visits Bollum at night. There are quite a lot of reports in that area. If you've not seen the map, drop me an email and I'll send it over to you. You can see it. Kind of from, I mean, as Stu will attest, Stu's in the chat, you can kind of throw a dart at Northumberland and Durham area, Simonside Hills, Harwood, Hamsterley, Kielder, that kind of area, and you will hit on an area where might be worth you having a look at. I've just, somebody today, actually, one of the members sent me something over about the Simonside Hills. I've not had a chance to look at it yet, but I've bookmarked it for tomorrow. Now, that's all of them done. Now, future meets. Linda, one of our members, and she's probably in the chat, has been busily looking at campsites for me for a possible meet that is not a wild camp. So this is for people who fancy a bit of glamping or they want to go in. I'll be camping in my tent, but we're looking for a site where you've got options, because not everybody wants to camp in a tent, and that's basically what we do, isn't it, really? But some people have said to me, that's a bit too much for us, it's not accessible for us, which is really understandable. So we're thinking what we're going to do is try and book in the Sherwood Forest Park if we can, which means that you can get from that campsite into the park itself, which would be really easy. We'd probably have the meet in the morning, and then we'd stay over the night. We could do a sky watch. We could even, some of the members could go out into the woods at the night in Sherwood Forest and see if there's any activity. I can show you where the sighting reports are in that area. We could have a bit of a paranormal night, because I would imagine Pat and Natalie and Pete are going to come out and join us, and Pete's a medium. So if you're up for that and you're interested in it, let me know. What I will do is, there are two options. If you want to book on that campsite along with me and anybody else, I will just send you the link to the campsite and say, this is the night I'm staying. You know, get yourself booked in there. If you want to camp at a cheaper camp and just come in and meet us in the forest in the day, in the Saturday day, that's more than fine. We can do that. So I'll get that arranged for you, but obviously I will bring you more information, probably in next month's email or something, because that would be June or July. Now, we have another member, Pete, who is liaising with the farmer in Shropshire in the hopes of adding another camp date. Now, this would be basically almost wild camping. There is going to be a toilet and fresh water, and that is it. You're going to need all amenities yourself, which is all right if you're used to camping like us, but if you're not, but you fancy it and you're not really sure where to go and get gear, or you don't really know what to buy, we don't mind giving information for free. So get in touch and I will put you in touch with a few members that can give you a few touches. Now, Sherwood Camp, as I said, has camping pods available, and you don't have to have your gear. There's lots of amenities there. Everything's laid out for you. Shropshire would be a different ball game. There is a loo, there's a decent porta cabin, but there isn't. If you're like me and you struggle with your movement, you're gonna need your composting loo, or your camping loo. So if you're interested in buying kit, and this is not a plug, I don't get any money off him. One tip I would give is just go and have a look around the Go Outdoor Centre. Oh, pardon me, Mark, give me some lemonade. I must apologise. Go and have a look around the Go Outdoor Centres if you can. If there's one in your area, you can have a look online. And it will seem really expensive at first, but if you pay the £5 fee to join, and it's not a yearly fee, it's just a one-off fee of £5, you get everything a third of the price off. For example, our teepee that we bought the teepee because you can get a wheelchair in it. You can stand up in it, so Mark can still see to me stood up, and he's tall, he's about 6 foot, and you don't want to be crunched over, and you know, he has a lot to do all day when the meets are on. As when you come out, you'll see. So it sets his back off. So the last thing he wants to do is be cramped in a little tent. It makes it easy for me because he can set everything up. And now our teepee would have been £183 if we'd bought it retail from anywhere else. But because we paid for this £5 card, we got it for 59 quid. Now, 59 quid, as many people will tell you, is a decent price for a two-man tent. This holds 6 people. So if you're like me and you struggle getting down and up, this probably is ideal for you because you can wheel your wheelchair in it. We managed to get some decent camping chairs in there. We have a decent orthopedic blow-up bed. So it's that big that I can be really comfortable. And if I recommended anything to you, that's the tent that I would recommend. And we've been in the foulest of weathers and we've never had a drop. We've had no condensation with it because it, like a teepee, it has a small opening at the top, so there's lots of free airflow going through. We absolutely love it. So just have a think about it. But if you're not sure, as I say, get in touch and I will send you a link to some of the sites that I use for camping gear and things like that. But a lot of the members camp and they're more than happy to give you free advice. We have some that do the real out there wild camping, so they're just under a tarp. And then you have that next level up where you've got a cook on and you've got your little bit of a stove, but you're still out in the wild areas. And then me and Matt like to do the half and half thing. We usually go in a farmer's field because we can get the car in, which means he can nip me back and forwards to the toilet if we haven't got our toilet with us. And then other people want to stay in the camping pods, don't they? They want a B&B experience. So the only way that I can think of being able to get all of those in one place is to pick somewhere like Nottingham, as Linda suggested. Sherwood Forest, it's going to be really easy, isn't it, to find campsites around there. But think on, we are going to be booking for June or July. So this is why I say, maybe next week or the week after, I will say, right, this is where I've booked into, this is the night I'm staying. And then I will let everybody know by email or by sharing the post on Facebook and things like that. So I am not going anywhere, I'm just getting to the end of me waffling. I'll jump in the chat in a minute and have a chat with everybody. But I first wanted to give a shout out to some channels because I think that they should have far more subscribers than they've got. Everybody's, you know, fawning over the American guys, and we've got lots of guys in the UK that are plugging away, doing what they can. And there's some people in America that are also doing the same thing and they're kind of getting looked over a little bit. And there are channels that I enjoy and we like the same thing. So I thought I'd recommend them. Annie Kay. Annie Kay is in Germany. And she's a lovely lass and she's working away out there on her own. I only know of one other German researcher and she's doing a bit. Brown Dwarf, I think, is in America. You'll have to correct me, Brown Dwarf, if I'm wrong. Crypto Angel, who is a Lancashire lash like myself. Dave Woos. Deborah Feller, our own GPE, Ian Wood, who is Werewolf Mike, by the way, and Louis Chidwick. If you can't find them on YouTube, pop me an email across and I'll send you a link. Now, lots and lots of people have asked me about merchandise. And merchandise is great, but you have to pay for it. So I don't have the funds to go out and say, I'm going to buy 100 t-shirts and then I'll send them to people online. And I don't have the time. And honestly, my hands are that useless, I can't do that. So there are some people who said, right, well, we don't mind, Deborah. If you, we'll get the merchandise and then we'll put it out there to people and things like that. And a few of the others have said, why don't we just all chip in and buy a couple of t-shirts and we'll put them out there. So that's all in the plan for the minute. But what I have been able to source is, and I've got them here with me today, they really are decent quality. So if you're interested in a hat, keep your head warm while it's raining and everything else, let me know. And I'll put you in touch with who you need to speak to. The other things you've got, and I don't know if they're going to show up okay, probably not. We have a number of kind of decals that you put on your car. Or you would put, say, on your window. They go on the outside, by the way. I have to keep telling people this. You might be able to show it better on here. We have one like this. And we have one that's a wolf, kind of a werewolf one as well, down there. What else did we have? Yeah, these are the things that come with you. I want to show. They're the things that come with your membership. But if you haven't got one, you can just get them for £1, £2, something like that. Just make us a donation. We have BBR key rings. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, other than the trinkets. Karen wanted me to show you this. Strange little thing. Let me see if I can find them. Those feathers that Karen likes. These little guys that you pop on your hat. or you pop on your waistcoat like me. We did get some of them. We have kind of running out of patches now. We don't have that many left, and the guy that I got them off is no longer making them, I'm afraid. So patches from now on are going to look like this, and they iron on. Just iron onto your kit or wherever, so I can get those for you. But I can't afford to like shell it out up front, I'm going to be honest. So what I will just do is just let me know, take the order, and I'll put you in touch with them, and then you liaise with them. The book is out. I'll give it a plug while I'm here. This is a book of witness reports, and people think, because it says childhood witnesses, it's stories for children. It's not, as you can tell from the cover, it's not. It's witnesses who've had experiences in early life or go on to have experiences later on. And it's also other reports that validate their experience. So it's about that, and that's kind of what the book's about. But yeah, that's just to raise funds for BBR, really, to get us to the next meet. And as I say, the next meet will be Bollum. So now I can jump in the chat and have a catch up with everybody. There we go. Oh, thank you, Jack. I'm glad you enjoyed my book. I'm full of a head cold, so if it's okay with you guys, I'll give it about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to have to get my pyjamas on and get back in bed. I've been in bed all day with a really bad chest. There we go. Hiya, Louie. Kaz. Lee Muzzy's in. I mentioned Lee on the Bollum. I can see you all now. Susie. Actually, I think I got... There we go. Hi, Mike. I wanted to say thank you to everybody that sent things in to me as well. I've had lots of things coming in email because people have noticed videos that they think might be interest of me, and newspaper articles and things like that. And that's fantastic, because I don't have, I don't really get to do that. I have so little time where I'm not in pain, or I'm not thinking about my pain, or I'm not full of painkillers. And I tend to do the sighting reports then. And I miss the old days. Back in the old days, I used to go through old archives and forums and anywhere that I could find something that kind of fitted in with what I was doing. And I really missed that. I miss those days. And I also used to do the YouTube thing where you binge watch. I used to watch all of Mountain Monsters. I absolutely loved Mountain Monsters. You know, all the old stuff, Alton Williams, things like that. And I do miss that. I don't get to do that anymore. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy what I do now. I didn't mean to sound like I was moaning. I think it's amazing that people are doing it for me. So it means that I don't have to do it. So we've had so many people volunteer. It's been absolutely wonderful. People helping us with stuff and, you know, volunteering things for the conference and all that. It's amazing how nice people can be when you get to know them. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping, Louis, that people will watch your videos, because it kind of shows what's natural in the ward and what's not natural in the ward, and it's really hard to get that across in just words or by typing it out in an email. So being able to see it, and it might be something that you could all do, really, the ones at YouTube. If you could point out man-made structures, or things that you feel are man-made, or point out things that you think are weather related or something like that. It clues people in on what to look for and what not to look for, really. But my best advice on that is, honestly, just follow your gut. If you've come up with an idea and you want to try it, just try it. You've got nothing to lose, have you, really? And what works for some people doesn't work for others. So you might have success in a place where another person wouldn't have success, you get what I mean? Or vice versa, that kind of thing. So just give it a try. As long as you're not being invasive and you're being respectful about what you do, you shouldn't have a problem, really. If you're in an area and it feels awful, then back out. Just listen to your gut and back out. Because, you know, as I keep saying, even I'm wrong. They're just not all, are there? There's just not this either or kind of thing going on. People are disappearing. There's some strange animal deaths where they can't identify the animal. Leslie sent one over for me today in America. Now there's been another account of a teenage boy killed, and they cannot account for the animal that's killed him. And that's probably 5 that I know of. up to now, where people have been attacked or killed by an animal that they cannot describe. And when they do the forensic autopsy, they can't work out what animal it is either, and it should normally it's something you can you can say, can't they, oh, it's been trampled by a moose or a wolf's had it, or you know, that kind of thing, and they can't pick it up on these bodies. I was just distracted because I was looking at Natalie's. I'll give Dr. Keeling a shout for you, Natalie. When I'm in email tomorrow, I'll pop her an email across for it, yeah, and let her know that you're after her. So as you can see, pain's kicking in now, so I'm probably, if it's all right with you guys, I'm gonna get in my bed and get an early night. So I don't know, is Bigfoot Tony not still around? Night chat. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Bigfoot Tony. I'm not really sure. I think he's in Bigfoot Odyssey, something like that, on Facebook, but it's very rare I'm on Facebook these days. I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's Teddy Quake. Did you like the video I put up for you? That was if anyone's interested into why I put a crackling fire up and a whistling kettle, you've got Teddy to thank for that. That's something Mark makes for me, and whenever he's chopping wood or he's like doing a fire, he'll film it for me because it's the best sound to fall asleep to. It's like rain on a tin roof, and it's just one of those things that takes you back to being a kid. So yeah, Teddy said he liked the same thing, so I posted it for him. So I've not gone crackers, believe me. So that's it for tonight. More loads to come as the month goes on. I might go quiet for a week because I've got the conference next Saturday. Not Saturday coming, the one after. And obviously I've got to get a speech together for that and all of the above. So yeah, I might go quiet for a little bit, but you could probably do with a break. Yeah, so oh, late. Try and do it next time. I'll try and do it a bit later for you. But we'll be meeting up on the 29th anyway. That's not that far away, is it? So I hope to see you all there. The ones that can make it. Night, Kazlas. And as I say, I am off to my bed. So good night, everyone.